Hey guys, Ralph here. True Power Trumpet Fitness. And a miserable day, weather-wise. Everything else is wonderful. Weather-wise here in Connecticut, raining like crazy. It's supposed to rain all day. That's okay. Anyway, just got out of the shower. I did do some kettlebells. I had a kettlebell class. I have not practiced yet. Let's get going. Now, you saw the thumbnail. I'll get to that in a second. Yeah, baby. Happy birthday, Jerry. 88 years young. It was actually yesterday. And I didn't know anything about it until yesterday. I already put the vid up, so we're doing it a day late. And any of you that watches this video, these vids, listen. Jerry has his own website. Take 2 seconds, 2 words. Happy birthday, Jerry, or thank you. Because I'll tell you what, guys, without him, there is no true power. For all my hard work, and for if it was not for him delving into the dark abyss that is chops, it wouldn't happen. And I'll tell you what, Jerry, I mean, you're going to probably watch this tomorrow. You watch it the day after. 45 years, my friend. 45 years. And quite frankly, going back, it's just this amazing amount of memories that I don't know where to start. 45 years ago, I heard of you, and I had to. I don't know what it was. I had to come and see you. It started off as I was supposed to study with one of your students out on Long Island. And I told him I was at college at the time, and I was about to come home. And I called my parents for the money to study with the guy out on Long Island. Because he studied with you. And there's this new thing going on, this new technique. And I remember my parents saying, we'll send you the money, but don't study from the guy from Long Island. Go right to the source. And that's where I met. That's where we met. I showed up on your door with $25. And since 45 years later, here we are. Played for you. One of 2 things, possibly a combination of 2 things, must have been going through your mind. One, this kid's got some talent. I was 18 freaking years old, and just off the turnip truck from the potato truck from Maine. Didn't know a thing about anything. All right? And you must have taken one look at me and said, this guy's got some talent. I think I can work with him. Or this kid's stupid enough to do anything I tell him to do. Combination of both, probably. But anyway, and since that time, Jerry, we've been joined at the hip. Joined at the hip for 45 years. And I have to say, as frustrating as chops can be at some time, I loved every minute of it. Loved every minute of it. Yes, you have given me advice over the years on many things. Your investments, strategies, made me a wealthy man. Not very wealthy, not Trump, of course, but I could pay for my daughter's education. I'm retired. That was all because of you. I wouldn't have done it because of you. And I know you. I know that I've had my daughter call you on numerous occasions and say, I love Penn State. Thank you. It's the greatest thing. My father tells me I couldn't have afforded it unless you gave him the advice, and she thanks you for it. Absolutely. She'd be taking out zillions of loans to go to a state school if it wasn't for your advice in financial. I've taken your advice on cars over the years. But for the most part, Jerry, I think you'll agree, our relationship is based on one thing. We are both insatiable lovers of the trumpet. Insatiable lovers of the trumpet. Short of my wife and daughter, trumpet is probably my true love. And I know you feel the same way. And even to this day, Jerry, 45 years older, we talk pretty much every day. I'm going to say 5 days a week. We pretty much talk. And many times we have something really cool that we want to share with the other one. Many times it's just to call up and kibitz a little bit. How are your chops? I'll play a few notes for you. Okay, remember when you go to the double... Love it. Loved every minute of it, Jerry. As frustrating as some of the stuff is. Now, I too, at various times, have thought you were a little off the rocker. I do. Just when we got something right, Jerry. Geez, I was killing it. You call me up with another mouthpiece, another tongue angle, another jaw angle, whatever, airstream, this, that. And after a while, I stopped thinking you were nuts. Because every single thing we tried worked to a certain degree. It wasn't the Holy Grail until about when the mouthpiece came out. I'll get to that. But to a certain degree, it worked. I'm not even going to call it a full step forward. I'm going to call it a tiny tweak forward. And it always, always got better. Now, I said in my book, you were the mad scientist. You were the theoretician. And I've had a couple people email me recently, why isn't there any evidence of Jerry playing anywhere? He will tell you, he never necessarily wanted to be a great player. He wanted to figure out chops. And if a great player, fell in his lap from that, fine. But he wanted to be in his laboratory every day, breaking down chops, trying something new, obliterating his chops, because his actual chops that he had at the moment, because he wanted to try something new. And when he got something that he thought was feasible, that's where I came in. Ralph, stop by the studio if you get a minute. Jerry, I'm swamped. Okay, over the phone, try this. Let me hear you spit. This is what was going on. And I, who was the performer at the time, would take it out to the masses on my Latin jobs, on my Hasidic jobs, on my Broadway, whatever the case may be, my orchestral things, whatever. And I would be preaching the gospel of Jerry. Okay? And that was our arrangement for years and years. But they make no mistake about it. He was the one doing the work. Jerry was the one doing the work. I was just, okay, I'll try it. Now, it wasn't until later, and I put this in my book, when I got my advanced degrees in health and nutrition and kinesiology, that I started adding something to it. All of a sudden, I could figure out from a physiological level why this tongue position worked. And I threw the kettlebells in, so I had my contributions. There's no question. But Jerry was the brains. And I make no bones about it. I will never, ever say this was my technique. My contribution was PNF and all that. Yep, I'll take that. But that was him. And I'll tell you what, over the years, man, Jerry, it's a long time. We started in your studio over the pizza parlor in Midtown, right down the hall from Clark Terry. And when I first got to town, I came over and took a lesson. And he said, so go home and practice. And I was staying at the Y until I got an apartment. And I said, I have no place to practice. He said, oh, geez, you got to practice. gave me the keys to his bathroom, right next door to his, and I practiced for a couple weeks until I found a place to practice in his bathroom. Remember that, Jerry? And that was not a pretty picture, man. It was a hallway bathroom that was there for everybody on the floor. It was a community bathroom. So I'm honking my double C's. I hear a knock. Somebody comes in and does their stuff. And needless to say, I'd go take a walk around the block until I went back in there. But there's an old book, an old basketball book called Heaven is a Playground. Okay? About basketball, obviously. And I'm going to put it in the trumpet vernacular. Heaven is a practice room. Right? Just close the door, leave me alone, and let me do my thing. Heaven is a practice room. Then you went sort of across the diamond there, across the street, uptown a little bit, and you were 2 floors below Carmine. Yes, and you gave me the keys to that place as well. And I'm telling you what, I was working up at this time, and when I would come home at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning after playing all day, I would go in the first thing in the morning. After the job, I wouldn't go home yet. And I'd go to your practice, and I'd practice a couple hours before I went home. Loved it. Loved it. And I'd be sitting there hanging out with you, and we'd hear all this cacophony coming from Carmine's studio, and just think, oh my God. But we're in progress. We're in progress. Okay? And then you moved up to Harlem, right from the Cotton Club. Okay? And I could, by there, and I had my own apartment, and I didn't need a place to practice. I couldn't go there at night. You know that. That was it was a beautiful studio. This spacious place, and you used to have your rehearsal band there. And that's another thing, playing in those rehearsal bands. I'm playing 3rd, 4th trumpet, and you're just all these Maynard and Bill Chase charts and all that stuff. Oh, how much fun was that? And top players came into that band. Top players came into that rehearsal band. It was fun. Then you move out to Staten Island at the Warehouse. And, oh, please. I used to go out and back. I mean, your office and everything was very nicely done. But I would go out and back and practice. And, I mean, there's water dripping down. There's rats and roots. I mean, I didn't care. I thought it was paradise. I'm practicing. And Buddha's in the other room, man. It was great. You finally bought your house with Yumiko, and you maxed out your basement so you practice there, and you've been there ever since. And when I was living in Brooklyn, I pretty much would come out once a week. Okay. When I moved to Connecticut, it was about once a month. I would drop Christine off at her brother's house. I'd go take my lesson. We'd come back, and we'd have dinner with the in-laws and everything, and then we'd go back. And now that I'm in Connecticut, it's not nearly enough that I see you. I'm not going to say I don't need you anymore, but it's not as frantic as it used to be. Okay? And we talk on the phone every day. And the beauty of, we got to get you Skyping too, Jerry. I mean, really, that's the next step. And then, again, about 6-8 months ago, the 1SS and the 1SB came. The icing on the cake. Nothing else need be said. Jerry, you did it. 45 years later, and you were starting before you even met me. It's closer to 60 years with you. Jerry, you did it. You figured out chops. There is nothing anybody can say is to say this is not right. They don't know what they're talking about if they say it's not right. Jerry, you did it. You've got thousands of students that are just thrilled. I've got hundreds just on this YouTube, Jerry, that after how many years of torture are loving it. I've got 12-year-old kids that will never have a problem playing the trumpet in their life because of you. Jerry, I can't thank you enough. I can't thank you enough. But happy birthday. Have a great day. Did you have a little cake? You probably did. My teacher, my mentor, and my best friend. Love you, Jerry.